Hello, everybody, and welcome to Merlin live stream Q&A Hangout thing. Uh, I actually sort of planned it, it was actually a suggestion. Girlfriend was like, when I said, "Oh, what do you want to do?" and when I said like, "Oh, what I'd like to do something," because I had some downtime tonight for once, and I was like, "Okay, well, not entirely sure what to do after running a lot of errands today, so I'm a bit tired, but I'm like, I kind of." I don't know. I think maybe I'll do a little stream, maybe do some Q&A stuff if people are on. So if you're joining me, feel free to ask questions, hang out for a bit. I don't know how long I'll go today because I'm a little bit tired, but I don't know. Maybe this could be a cool little hangout. Let me see. As far as updates for the channel go, I guess it's Full Metal February. So I put I think my buddy and I, Nick, did a review, reaction, sort of discussion about some of the Fullmetal Alchemist episodes, which I just put up. So you can watch that if you're interested in that. And I might have a few more Fullmetal Alchemist videos up before the end of the month. I feel like I sort of put some of my other projects on the side a little bit just because I've been sort of busy this week. But I have another idea for a podcast I kind of want to do. It's sort of like, I don't know if it'll be weekly or monthly, but I really want to do this thing where I discuss kind of old classic sci-fi, like monster movies and alien invasion movies. Just kind of been sort of something I've been interested in for a while. So that might be something I do. Oh, hey, how's it going? Welcome. Yeah, of course, if you're watching, feel free to like it and share it around, get more people in here for some kind of discussion. But I think the first one is going to be maybe the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers is what I'm thinking. That might be what I first do. Oh my goodness. Thoughts, Jogging King, hello. Thoughts on rumors of the Punisher coming back to the MCU with John Bernthal returning to reprise his role? Well, if there's an official statement about that, that's cool. I kind of thought that was already in the works for a while. I thought, but if it's official, that's great. I hope Daredevil comes back. Charlie Cox's Daredevil. I heard rumors about that as well. John Bernthal in the MC would be great. I think I kind of would like to see some of those Netflix shows maybe get some continuations, maybe with some of the Marvel money. I've actually been watching WandaVision. I've been caught up with that. So that's actually been something I've been watching. And I also finished Cobra Kai recently too. But yeah, WandaVision's been pretty cool. I like that last reveal. I'm kind of thinking they might be introducing the X-Men that way finally. So that might be kind of awesome. Do you think movies and games will become more controversial and detestable? Could you give me more of an example, Zeth? The movies and games. I mean, it seems to me that in terms of recent discussion, I feel like there are a lot of these big corporations, especially making movies that have a lot to do with these big franchises and connected universes. The idea is to try to make them inclusive. So they actually want to try to avoid controversy. But on the other hand, especially maybe more with games, like maybe if it's more violence or mature content, they might try to push the boundary to kind of separate themselves a little bit to basically make themselves stand out from the pack. I mean, you'd want to do that with a movie too as well. So I feel like making a movie or a game or something more controversial would actually be good for it to make it stand out now. But I think lately it feels like everything's trying to, especially movies, I think there's a bit more of an appeal to try to get everybody together to, have a big, wider audience. But with video games, I feel like video games, like there's a little more freedom to kind of play around with different storylines and whatnot. So I don't think there's as much scrutiny for games, but I could be wrong. Though I don't think that anybody wants to go out to offend anybody because that could just hurt sales and whatnot. So they want to try to be inclusive for whatever their audience is. But if you can think of some examples, I don't think so. But WandaVision's been pretty good. I wasn't really like. I wasn't sure how to feel about it at first because I kind of thought it was like maybe this is a weird experimental sort of commentary on old sitcoms, just using the weird Wanda Scarlet Witch character to kind of mess with that. But seeing that it's kind of more integrated into the MCU and now maybe maybe bringing some of the 20th Century Fox stuff in there. Because when I saw that reveal at the end of the one episode with that character, I was kind of like, oh, like now that I think about it, I can't believe I didn't realize it before. But Scarlet Witch using her reality warping powers to change things would be a really obvious way to do that. It's just that in the MCU movies, it was never really made clear that she was that powerful. But I mean, the comics, you got the whole House of M thing. I'm like, yeah, Scarlet Witch, especially when she's like undergoing a lot of trauma, which she would have after the whole Avengers Thanos debacle. She might kind of have access to a lot of stuff, and that's a really clever, really easy comic book way to maybe bring some of the franchises together. So I'm actually really excited for that. I thought that was really cool. I'm curious to see how it wraps up because I guess it's just a miniseries, but considering a lot of the movies got pushed back because of the whole pandemic, I think this is kind of a good way to sort of build up some things, maybe if they haven't planned everything out. So I'm looking forward to more of it, actually. I really am. What do you think about it? Uh, is that if you think writers are gonna push more boundaries? Well, I mean, it's always a good idea to try and think if you're getting stale to say, okay, what haven't we talked about? What haven't we discussed? What things about society and just human nature maybe have we not discussed, or maybe in a different way, or maybe not in a while with maybe technology or new circumstances. I mean, that's what you should, I guess, do with any kind of experience artistically, right? That otherwise, I mean, that's a big part of it. But yeah, I would certainly hope so. But with what's popular, I mean, in terms of like bigger stories, I mean, I don't know. We've seen bits of that in things like the Marvel movies. I mean, they using superheroes to kind of explore more relevant themes, but they can only go so far because it's supposed to be at the end of the day fun escapist entertainment, unless you have some comic book movies that maybe deviate a little bit, but that's a good example too. Let's see. Punisher season 3 during Blip period, going up against the Nucci crime family. Oh, classic mafia combat. You got to do that with Punisher. Would be cool. And post end credit scene can be after the Blip where Frank meets Nick Fury, sitting in scenes 4. That would be very, very good way to introduce it. Yeah, I guess I don't know if Punisher would be. I mean, I guess he did kind of roll around with the Avengers for a little bit there. I think when Cap was killed in the comics, I think he briefly took over. But I don't know if he's kind of so much of a vigilante character with the whole crossing of the line with murder that I think he'd come into conflict with a lot of the other superheroes. So I don't know if I'd see him as a staple Avenger, but he definitely could show up as a guest. I'd like to see him still be a Spider-Man villain like he was in the comics. That was his introduction, of course. So that would be a good throwback. Yeah, Kenny, I heard about that. Ryan Johnson getting to do another Star Wars trilogy. I saw that the other day. It said his trilogy's still in the works. And I'm like, I got mixed feelings about that, I confess, because Last Jedi definitely was trying to push boundaries once again, trying to get more controversial by challenging what Star Wars is about, and of course upsetting people. And when you're doing something challenging, I remember when that movie came out, I talked to one coworker of mine, and he was like, remember when Empire Strikes Back came out years ago, it was like the most hated thing because it was darker, it was bleaker, it was more challenging in a lot of ways than the first Star Wars movie, and people were expecting kind of more of the same. And at the time, Empire Strikes Back was actually critically hated, and over time, it actually is like considered pretty much the best one. So, I don't know. I don't know if Last Jedi is going to be quite like that because I think it's kind of almost a rejection. I think I may have said this before, but Ryan Johnson being kind of independent filmmaker, I feel like he really wanted to get very experimental with his thematic explorations of what the franchise is about and what the themes of the story are about, and really deviate if it was like its own side thing, like an isolated, random Star Wars spinoff. I actually think it would have functioned better. That's how I kind of look at Last Jedi. So, like I said, in terms of a film, I actually think it's the most challenging, interesting, and I'm not. But the thing was for me, I appreciate that, like from a storytelling perspective and a filmmaking perspective. But my love of traditional Star Wars ideas, and particularly of Luke Skywalker, I didn't like the direction. So I have a hard time navigating between, is it a wrong decision what he did, or is it just something I don't like because I don't see the character going this way, and I don't think he necessarily would have, but I do think it's a feasible path they could have gone down. So, but so I don't know if him. I'm surprised they would give him a trilogy because Last Jedi was so controversial and so many fans didn't like it. So I wonder if that's actually going to pull through. I feel like him producing it, or maybe helping with the writing of it or directing it. I think he's got some cool direction for sure with his actors, getting good emotional performances from them. But I don't know if he should be like the main person behind it if he's going to just go a completely different direction, because I feel like everybody was so upset about it. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. But so I don't know. Malcolm in the Middle. Yeah, it did. That intro with my buddy Dan from Dan Reviews It remarked that they kind of skipped the 90s and went to, I guess, 2000s, though. I feel like Malcolm in the Middle still feels like a very 90s show, even though it's technically not. But yeah, I thought exactly, oh, it's Malcolm in the Middle now. I had the exact same thought. Yeah, that intro, that camcorder intro, it was really cool. 90s throwback. We've not seen the last of Last of Us Part Two. I don't know. I'm not really that familiar with Last of Us. I never played it. Um, I know that it was like beloved for the story, and then the second one came out and they changed some things, and it really upset some people. And it's like it's tough. I mean, I think challenging things with a difficult subject matter and taking your story a difficult direction, or a more complicated direction to maybe help it grow is a good thing sometimes, but doing it without seeming like you're being too mean-spirited and offensive to people that have invested in the characters can be tricky. You don't want to come off as insulting. Like I was going over with some of my friends my favorite movies of all time, and it's been tough. We decided to make it the top 40. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a video on it. But for a long time, Unbreakable was one of my favorite movies, and after Glass came out, I'm still so upset about that particular direction because it seemed like it was trying to attack those characters and fans of those characters that I actually don't like the movie as much. I feel like it's affected any future viewings I have. So I think for a lot of people, maybe that's how Last of Us is. It's like maybe it'll ruin their viewing of the first game. I think that's very possible. Uh, People don't get Naruto isn't about hard work versus talent. It isn't about that. What would you say? What would you say Naruto's about, Kenny? Because I I feel like, admittedly, I'm not an expert on Naruto, but from what I remember, that's like kind of the classic shonen action series trope is, the hard work pays off, but you have to have natural talent. Well, natural talent certainly helps in certain areas, but look at Rock Lee, right? He didn't have any specific ninja powers. He had to kind of just basically train his physical body and kind of create his own jutsu. So, I mean, that's like a great example, right? So, maybe as it further along it goes along, maybe it gets more convoluted. But I thought that was like the core theme of Naruto, like a lot of those other shows. That hard work, you persevere, and you can achieve great things, right? Push too many boundaries as a writer with my published work. Oh, really? You publish some stuff? I'm working on a book too, man. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about self-publishing soon. I'll announce something. What you writing? Well, tell me. That's cool. Let's see. Why lust as a sin is shown beautiful when pride make more sense? Hmm. For for uh for I don't know, actually. I think when they came up with the concept of lust, when she was created, I think that the idea was, okay, lust is going to represent those lustful desires from her victims. Like, I guess she'll fall prey to them. But you're right. The with her, it's kind of the exception. Whereas I think most of the other homunculi, the sin they represent kind of manifests itself in the physical form they have. Whereas, like, okay, like her being lustful wouldn't necessarily have anything to do with her being attractive. Maybe that was just a choice of, well, we got to make an attractive femme fatale because none of the other homunculi really quite fit that. So that might be why that was a creative decision with that particular strategy. That'd be my guess anyway. So let's see. If FMA continue, do you think we would see how restrictive alchemy is? Maybe. I think that's one of the cool things. If anybody was going to do a Full Metal Alchemist spinoff or something, I think it would be cool to actually kind of explore the different types of alchemy and kind of. I thought an easy way to do it, which they touched upon a little, was kind of making it more elemental. Like certain alchemists would have certain specialities. We saw some of that, but I think maybe they could have played more with that idea, and maybe there are other different types of alchemy besides the alchemy we see in alchemy. So I think there's definitely more they could have played around with that, but they definitely focused on the main themes of how restrictive it could be with human transmutation and whatnot. Hence the Philosopher's Stone. What we got to do to get you on Attack on Titan? Well, I think I got some videos about it on here somewhere, probably some older ones. Well, I heard there was some kind of reveal about something, and maybe you've heard this argument before. When Attack on Titan came out years ago, I was really into it. I was on the bandwagon like everybody else. Like back in the day, if anybody knows on here, remember, for a little while, I like the first season, I really loved Attack on Titan. I really did. But I thought the visuals were cool, the monsters were cool, the Titans were awesome. I thought the characters desire to kind of get revenge on the Titans after what they did to his family was just a great motivator, and it was horrific. And I thought it was really cool. This guy was going to have to train himself, even though he wasn't naturally good, to use the weird wire things to take down these giant monsters that were near impossible to kill. It was this really tense situation. And I thought it was beautifully animated and everything. I thought it was really cool. It was creepy. It was a good show. But, then they did the thing where they made the main character, it was a shonen, I guess. Then they made the main character go Super Saiyan. He could turn into a Titan. And I'm like, oh, of course he could turn into a Titan. And I'm like, okay, this is a little, okay, there might be a twist or something coming, but why did, I kind of like the fact he was just a normal guy and they were all normal people fighting against the Titans. That made it more interesting, I thought. And then it turns out that there's a bunch of people that are secretly Titans, and I guess the Titans were made. And I get they were trying to do the government's behind it or something. I don't know. But I just, that alone kind of bothered me because I thought the coolest aspect of the premise was you literally had normal people on these weird strings fighting these horrific giants. And they were going to have to be clever in defeating them. And they just, of course, get giant powers. They get Titan powers. And I'm just like, oh, that's fine, I guess. But then it lost a lot of originality for me. And then, of course, the classic, the walls are made of Titans. And a lot of people stopped reading after that. And I heard about that. I think I watched some of the second season. And I thought it was fine, but then they got away from the main character for a bit, and I don't know, I just lost interest in it. I don't know. If people would like me to check out Attack on Titan and talk about it a little, maybe I will, but I don't know. The coolest thing about it, I thought they kind of sabotaged in the first season for me. And that's, I'm sure it's still interesting, but that was the main draw for me, and I don't know. So I did watch it a bit back in the day, but not too much recently. I did hear there was some kind of new twist or something. Hey, the big Sambrowski, what's up? How you doing? What's good? WandaVision's been pretty good. Cobra Kai was pretty good. I watched the original King Kong from 1933 the other day. I'm going to put up a podcast about it. My podcast, my buddy Justin, There Goes Tokyo Remix. And I'll go into more detail on there if you want to listen. But it was really awesome. Blew me away. Classic movie. So I think the old King Kong's really good. Yeah, those are some things that are good that come to mind. Lord of the Rings is pretty good. Some of the things in my room I think are good. Some stuff. Star Trek's good. Jurassic Park's pretty good. This microphone I like's good. I like the mic stand that my buddy Gimli got for me, and I think my channel's doing pretty good. We got some good subs in here. commenting, making good discussion. Appreciate everybody. Keep me awake because I've had a long day. Tax season, I have mixed feelings about, but hopefully the end result will be good. Looking forward to King Kong versus Godzilla. That hopefully will be good. Haven't watched Wonder Woman 1984 yet. Don't know if that's good. Everyone told me it was like not, so I don't know. Evangelion. It's been a long time, but I have. Yeah, Evangelion I think is a classic. There's a lot of old anime classic series that I kind of want to rewatch and just do like retrospective videos about because I do really like Evangelion, but I watched it once like over 10 years ago. I watched like I think one of the movies once and it was pretty good. I saw a fun video summing it up again in 10 minutes. It was pretty funny. I think Evangelion's classic. It's a good show from what I remember. I'd have to check it out again, but I thought it was pretty good. Very subversive of mech tropes and a lot of interesting ideas there. So it's pretty cool. I like it. I don't know if I'm a Shinji apologist, but I'm cool with Shinji. You know, I mean, I got a lot of comments here. Jeez. Whoa. So much stuff. Okay. The moment when Rian entered Lucasfilm was the moment. Oh, Ryan, or not Rian. Rian. See, that does sound like a Star Wars name. The moment when Ryan entered Lucasfilm was the moment Ryan crippled his career. Oh, Looper had its problems, but it was its own thing. Star Wars, however, is too protective for that. Oh, well, of course, Star Wars is too protective for that. I don't know. I think people were probably a little too hard on Ryan because, look, he had a difficult task. That'd be really stressful, I'd imagine, handling a big project. Like I was thinking about it, you know, small time kind of independent film director takes on Star Wars. Talk about pressure. I don't know. I think it was an interesting idea. But I don't know. I hope his career hasn't been destroyed because of it. I mean, it was just one movie. The guy's done other good movies before. I would have Daredevil season 4 take place during the blip and do a team up with Punisher take on Bullseye. Bullseye, that'd be good. Mandalorian feels like fan fiction. Yeah, it feels kind of like those. There was a Boba Fett short story collection I remember reading years ago that I thought was pretty cool, and Mandalorian gives me some of those vibes. Just the kind of the Western elements of Star Wars. I still need to watch more of it. I've held back, but you know I know there's been a lot of drama with that recently. It's like all the arguments kind of killed my interest, but it is good from what I've seen. I feel like Batman v Superman was a foreshadowing of Star Wars 8. What, just being dark and edgy for its own sake? Batman versus Superman. I kind of sort of enjoyed initially, but I don't really have a desire to watch it again. I'm curious about the Zack Snyder Justice League cut though, because I thought Justice League was pretty mediocre, and I don't think that should be the case. Jessica Jones. I don't know. I feel like Jessica Jones had a pretty conclusive ending. I mean, you could certainly have her show up again, but I got the sense they sort of wrapped up her character. Oh, Adam Bombo's in here. Hello there. Adam, what's up, man? Foreshadowing from Dr. Grant. You bred raptors. To Wong in Jurassic Park movie version. It's genetic engineering crossing a moral line. Yes, that classic science fiction question. I need to actually read the novel because I never did. I remember I had a copy and I lost it. I need to read it though. I remember there was somebody put up an audio version of certain scenes, like when Nidri gets eaten by the Dilophosaurus, and that is much more horrific than in the film version. I don't know. I guess in the context of something like Jurassic Park, I mean that's kind of always been that's the whole theme of the movie, isn't it? I mean, basically, like, you know, what lines don't you cross? And I think a lot of my favorite sci-fi stories kind of go through with that. And that is the whole main element of the story of Jurassic Park is, you know, should we do this? And if we do, you know, is it a good idea to introduce these animals into a modern environment without repercussions? Oh, it's no big deal. But they also modify it because I believe they couldn't recreate the code completely. So I think they used, was it frog DNA so they changed the genetics of the dinosaurs too. So in effect, they created a new species that was even harder for them to predict. I think that I think the line, man, is actually the main point is I mean, they bred raptors. So, I mean, and if we've seen in all the other films, like, okay, learn from your mistake. Maybe having a Triceratops or a Stegosaurus or the Brontosaurus is fine, maybe. But yeah, apparently we can't control, if we can't find a way to make it work cohesively, then maybe it's not a good idea, which is why the Jurassic Park sequels are kind of silly. But in terms of like stem cell research and stuff, I always thought that was kind of cool. But then if you get into the whole creating a whole nother creature, or they get into cloning and things like that, that's when it gets into some really difficult territory. But as far as Jurassic Park is concerned, I think they should just avoid breeding raptors. Actually, is probably the main thing. So in that film, yes, definitely. Another Halloween movie incoming. Yes, Halloween Kills. What a title! What a title! Is that what it's called? I just want John Carpenter to direct one again. That'd be cool. He did the music for the last one. That was excellent. Oh, there's a Last of Us show coming. Very nice. Who's the writer? If only WandaVision had the actual Malcolm in the middle. Well, I would say Disney couldn't get the rights, but if only that. What's your thoughts on Marvel's Netflix characters appearing in the MCU? Do you think they should have built their characters in their own? Wait, what? What's your thoughts on Marvel's Netflix characters appearing in the MCU? And do you think they should have built those characters in their movie? MCU? Oh, no. They had a show. So it's fine. They had a show, so it's already established. You could watch the Netflix show. That's fine. I don't think it would be cool if they had a movie, but I don't think it's necessary. You see, Whedon was acting weird on Buffy set. Wait, what do you mean? Was he crossing a boundary of some sort? Oh, not Joss. No. I have a theory that WandaVision is going to set up the second generation mutants. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Naruto is the most subversive manga anime in both a good way and a bad way. I'm trying to make it easy read. Wait, what? Yeah, well, you'll have to expand on that. I'm trying to make easy read edition of In His Mind, Afternoon, Solopism. They'll have different artists draw my art. I'm too much of an amateur to draw characters. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Like a comic or something. That's awesome. I've seen. I need to promote Shot Anime as a manga. If any of you are curious about that, I think she does one. It's on Webtoon, Half of the Crown. So yeah, check that out if you're interested in that. I think that's a really good manga she made. Like that. Trust me. Let's see. Man, I got so many comments in here. Geez. Okay. Oh man, I don't even know. So many comments. Trying to get to them. Let me see. Get through these. How you feel about the way Inuyasha's Seven Sins? It didn't have the characters staying one dimensional. Are you talking about like the newest arc or something, like the final act? Because I'm not as familiar with that. I don't know if Inuyasha had like the deepest characters or anything, but yeah, I don't know about the Seven Sins part. Teens versus Giants. Yep. Attack on Titan needs TV trope. Punisher and Nick Fury take on Barracuda. That'd be cool. Zelda Netflix show canceled. Oh. That's a shame. I was actually looking forward to the Zelda show because I'm not really an expert on Zelda, but I would have liked to have seen more of it. Yeah, Kong's axe is a way for him to have an edge, literally an edge on Godzilla. I agree. Yeah. Oh, she said something questionable on Twitter, and Disney didn't like it, and some people didn't like it. So yeah, basically you got to watch what you say on social media is what it sounds like. That's what people say, but I feel like as a comic book movie person, I should watch Wonder Woman. But the adorable expression in their faces aren't rated R. Yeah, I don't know. They have some questionable faces sometimes. The most ballsy show of all time. Well, it definitely was willing to, make its audience question a lot of things. I mean, it certainly ends on basically with the most surreal ending. Well, one of the most surreal endings I've seen in anime. Like it just diverges from the plot and just goes completely in the mind of the characters. So that's kind of a cool thing. Not everybody liked it at the time. Yeah, I have a feeling that's how I'll feel about it. There's there a reason anime adaptations usually fail? I think usually it's budget and trying to feel like you have to rush to fit too many things into one film. And if it's an American one, it's usually just not really understanding the source material. I think those are the big reasons why. Yeah, I don't know. I think there was communication issues between Ryan and Abrams, honestly, that were definitely missing. Granola design? No, I don't think I didn't see granola, but now you got me curious. Hold on. Granola. Granola. Cerulean race, nine, but saying arm motivation. Of course. Okay, this is another villain in Super. Now, I think his name is awesome. His name is perfectly in line with the Toriyamas out there. Granola. Oh shoot, granola. That's great. That's actually really good. Oh, Toriyama and his puns, man. Oh, that's fantastic. Granola, perfect. I'm posting a link here because seeing if I can get some more people in the stream. Oh man, granola. That's good stuff. Oh man, I've got a song coming up with Adam here in the chat. He's in my little rap duo, rap group, the Velociraptors. Oh man, it's pretty cheesy, but we've made some fun stuff. I've got this this track that we're trying to work on that I have to actually try and record some verses for, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I might just read poetry, but I feel like I have to rap a little bit again. So oh man, I don't know if people are ready for this. I don't know if I'm ready for it, but that should be coming. I wanted to make a little music video for it. I did a promotional one where I got kind of silly, but I enjoyed doing that too. Let me see. Go back to the thing here. Let's see. Yeah, granola is hilarious. Part of me wants to love Wonder Woman 84, but part of me hated it. Soundtrack's phenomenal. Yeah, frustrating. Yeah, wait, the Snyder Cut's 4 hours? Oh, I'm gonna look at that up. I'm looking that up now. Zach, Snyder Cut, runtime. Oh, uh, oh no. Ah, ah. Oh no. The original the original cut was 2 hours. They doubled the runtime. Well, I hope it's good if it's 4 hours. That's an epic right there. Whew. Editing that was probably fun. You know, I thought Jared Leto's Joker was all right. I thought he was fine. Sort of the urban gangster Joker, I thought was okay. I wish he did more, honestly. I was fine with it. What else is there for Harry Potter? Can't believe it's coming back. Wait, Harry Potter's coming back? Wait, what? They're not rebooting that yet, are they? I know there was supposed to be like a Lord of the Rings show on Amazon, but is Harry Potter got something coming back? What? What? Yeah, that'd be a good team up. The Wurstling World is a lie. Wait, tell me what did I miss here? We need a new supernatural serial killer. I'm tired of Michael. Yeah. Well, you've got Jason, I guess. Top 10 manga. Monster. 20th Century Boys. Berserk. Death Note is pretty up there. I do like Dragon Ball a lot. Like, I think I'm missing something really obvious here. I haven't really read my. I like Parasite a lot. Um, did I say Berserk? Berserk's pretty up there. Uh, oh, I like Vinland Saga a lot. Vinland Saga is really good. I don't know if I lost count. One Piece actually is a pretty good manga. And I guess we'll say Naruto for now, just because I haven't read as much manga as I've watched anime, unfortunately. But I think that's a top 10. Let's see. Yep, yep. Glenn or Negan? Hmm. I never got that far. I stopped watching The Walking Dead before that point. So I guess I like Glenn though. I really like Glenn as a character. So let's see. Wait, is this show still going on? I thought it was over. I thought it was over. Oh, I know they were trying to make a movie. Oh man, there's Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think they were planning on giving the Joker a sequel. Actually, yeah, Shishomaru was pretty consistent. That's true. Uh, um, no, I don't think. I don't know if it changed it to the point of no return. I actually thought that from what I recall, I think it was fairly in character. Um, unless there's something that happened in Boruto I don't know about, which I haven't been reading that. Uh, let's see. Uh, uh, oh, I think maybe it the point of no return of Sasuke being a cringy, angsty character for a lot of people, maybe, but I don't know. I don't think the point of no return. I just maybe for Sasuke specifically, but I don't know about everybody. I was like, you said the twist, and I was like, that's what the twist he's thinking of with his brother and the family. I was like, was there something else I don't know about? Like I said, I'm not that versed in it, but I'm like, I think I know what he's talking about. uh, I think Itachi seemed like a pretty good villain at the time. I guess it might have been more fun if his motivations weren't as straight evil, but I mean, it adds complexity, it adds depth, which I think is it. It depends on what you're looking for, but I think it's usually a good thing. Um, let's see. Well, I think that's kind of a that's that you're asking me a question that I think is a little biased because in the last 10 years, how much have I liked anime? Let's see. I'm gonna say anime of the 2010s just to remind myself because I'm so tired. Okay, well we got Attack on Titan, which I was okay with for a little while, but I lost interest in. High School of the Dead, I watched a little bit of, was entertaining, but I didn't think it was like that great. My Hero Academia, I actually think is pretty decent. Hunter x Hunter, I like, but that's technically from the 90s. I'm looking at all the most popular ones. I've got Naruto, I guess Bleach. Elfen Lied's a good show. A bunch of these I haven't seen. Let's see. The new Berserk was not that good. Dragon Ball Super. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Now, I bet you if we go to the 2000s, I'll be able to say I've seen more stuff. All right. So, Samurai Champloo, Paranoia Agent, Death Note, Soul Eater, Here Go Proxy, Full Metal Alchemist. Let's see. Oran High School Host Club, Naruto, Elfen Lied, Hellsing, Code Geass. I didn't see that one, but I heard it was good. One Piece, more Gundam stuff. Inuyasha. Yeah, we got Ghost Story. It's all over that. Chobits. Yeah. Blue Gender, Bleach, Cashered Sins, Bakuno, Claymore, Beyblade, Gurren Lagann, Mushishi, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that Astro Boy, Will's favorite, Aquarion, Princess Tutu, Wolf's Rain. I've actually just seen more of these, and most of these I like. My Bride is a Mermaid was actually a pretty entertaining show, a little bit of that I saw. So I'm going to say the 2000s. Seems like there was more of a bulk of anime that just was popular, but it's possible there's just much more that I haven't seen recently. But I think it was a good decade overall. Am I the only fan of Naraku, best man behind the curtain who actually runs away? Hey, I like a villain that runs away. Kind of reminds me of Cell before he gained his perfect form. Naraku was kind of planning behind the scenes. I always liked Naraku as a villain. And I loved his voice. It was always so menacing. Inuyasha is a pitiful fool, not even worth my notice, for I am Naraku. Demonic person. Oh, Kurt Russ. I know who that is. That would be Troll. Anime or superhero comics? That classic debate. I feel like that always, every time people ask that question, it's like, well, is it what do I like better, or what do I think is better? Well, and of course he phrased it the specific way too. He's like, anime or superhero comics. I've definitely read much more superhero comics, and I think I like more superhero storylines that I've gotten into over the years, like graphic novels. But in terms of long-running storylines, you can't beat manga. But I haven't read as much manga. But in terms of animation in general, I think I like a lot of anime series more. So I have the benefit of saying, well, those are two slightly different mediums. I think there are more anime series I like than superhero comic book based shows, but the superhero comic based shows I like are some of my favorites. And if I had to make like a top 20 shows, I think I'd have more superhero shows on than I would have anime. But I don't know. Like that's a good question, actually. Yes, release Black Widow already. I agree. Which classic anime before the 90s earlier looks the best or has the least held up well in your opinion? From the 90s or earlier? You know what? I think Bebop is probably the 90s show that holds up the best looking quality wise that I can think of, which is one reason why it's so popular. A lot of the anime from the 90s and before, I either think has pretty good animation or I tend to be forgiving of it, but I don't remember a lot with terrible animation. As much as I liked it, the Starship Troopers anime miniseries that I watched, which I actually thought was pretty good. It was closer to the book from what I understand. I liked it, but the animation for that, especially a lot of the background characters, was quite rough. That did not hold up particularly well animation wise, unfortunately. But I do think it was a pretty good show. I'd recommend it. It was only like 5-6 episodes anyway. Yeah, I feel like there's just a lot more out now. Oh, do I view Dragon Ball's ending as cliche ending or Fish of the North Star? Fist of the North Star. I keep saying Fish of the North Star. That'd be very different. I'm just picturing like a boxing fish. It's probably a real anime somewhere. Dragon Ball ending is cliche. You mean him taking Oob to train and abandoning his family again? I think having a happy ending where everybody's together, laughing, and having no more specific training to look forward to would be actually more cliche. I actually don't like the way the original Dragon Ball ending ends. If you're talking about Dragon Ball Z, or if that's what you're talking about, if it's the Dragon Ball where it's just the final fight with Piccolo, I was fine with that. If it's the first part, yeah, I'm fine with that. Fine. It feels more conclusive than with Z, where he goes off and he's like, "Bye," So yeah, I don't know. That always felt like that didn't. I felt like kind of a non-ending. Like, oh, and then they made GT, and we all know where that went. Fist of the North Star. I actually forget how it ends because I know that there's the first season, which I think has all the stuff I know. And Hero told me there's like a second season that continues after he like defeats Rao, and there's like more villains. And I'm like, what do you do after that? And I heard it's not that great, so I don't know. Black Widow had a messed up death. She is dead. So technically, if there is another life there, you can't ever see her. Well, oh, they can rewrite that if they really want to. I don't know what they're gonna do with her. I kind of hope she does come back, but we need more of the classic Avengers to, I think, kind of pass the torch before we have them take on new movies. Because the current Avengers lineup would not be quite as iconic, I think. So I hope we get more Black Widow stuff. But would that cheapen her death? I mean, it's one of the things that kind of stood out about that movie was like, there had to be some consequences. But then again, it's a comic book movie. Anybody can come back from the dead, right? Do you plan out your day before you get out of bed? Uh, it's a great question. Um, if I don't have to work, I usually have some kind of plan. I need to get better about like being more meticulous with what I plan in terms of prioritizing my time. Like this was kind of I didn't plan on doing this tonight. I had some errands to run, and I'm like, well, before I go to sleep, maybe I could do something for a couple hours, and I wasn't sure, and I'm like, I'll do a little stream. But I had a lot of errands to run today that I knew about beforehand. So I did actually plan out my day today. But if I had to work, it's like, well, I get up, I get ready, I go to work, which I work from home, so that's not too hard right now. And then I work. And if I have time, then I usually have like a plan if I'm going to work on something or hang out with somebody. So I have like a rough plan for my day, but it's not like this time, this time. I need to get better about that because then I have some open time where I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I have like a rough plan usually of what I want to accomplish based upon what is expected in my schedule already. But yeah, it's not very meticulous. I feel like Marvel and DC held a special place in people's hearts in the West before the 2010s, but something off happened. Special place. Well, before the 2010s, I think it held a special place in in comic book fans' hearts, but in terms of other people, in terms of wider, I mean, I don't know. I think that actually, I think more people cared about Marvel in the 2010s than any other time because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And DC, I don't know, but I'd say that probably gave more exposure. So I think that maybe it felt a little more inside because, like, if you grew up with some of the 90s cartoons or if you've been reading comic books for a long time or just played the video games, it was a little bit closer knit of a community. It was still more niche. Liking comic books is or superheroes at least is more mainstream than it's ever been. So I don't know. I guess maybe that could cheapen the how special it may seem to some people, but I don't know. I think it might. We're kind of in a weird place now, but I think that since Iron Man, I think that Marvel stuff has just been beloved for the most part. Spider-Man 2099 or Miles Morales? Well, that's a good question, Kurt Russ. I didn't know Kurt Russell was in the chat. Yes, Ego, the planet himself. 2099, I actually think has a really cool design, and I like his powers, and I liked him. But unfortunately, I've never read a single 2099 comic or actually seen him do. I think that one game he was cool. So I guess by default, I'd have to say Miles Morales because I've got a better sense of his character. But I do like 2099's design and his powers and stuff. But I guess Miles Morales just because I know him more. But they're both kind of cool, I guess. Can you imagine if Berserk managed was fully adapted to the manga in the 90s? Oh no. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, Berserk was kind of violent, but it doesn't really get that messed up until like the last couple episodes. And like that's when it actually starts to become full on Berserk. And I'm like, man, if they had all the weird demons and stuff and went to the places they went to, I don't think that Berserk would have had quite as much mainstream success because I remember Berserk was like this kind of a taboo thing when I was starting to get into looking about anime and manga. Like Berserk was like one of the extreme ones, which it does get pretty extreme, but there are other manga and stuff that I think go even more extreme. So it's like, it's kind of funny now. I'm like, it's a dark fantasy, but there is more exploitative stuff out there. Well, then again, I guess it depends. Sometimes they just do stuff that doesn't make sense, like the trolls, of course, and the horse. And yeah, I don't get that. The sex stuff is just like why are we doing this, guys? But whatever. I forget what Guts is even doing now. He hasn't gotten to Griffith yet, but I do want them to go back and actually expand on it and not make it CGI. But I still think the original anime is classic because it focuses on the human element and it's very medieval. They don't really get into the supernatural stuff till later on, but it still feels like a pretty enclosed story overall. So I still enjoy it. I do really like it. Kind of a dark ending though. Then it ends with Kenshiro defeating Kao and leaving. Manga ends with Kenshiro healing Bat. Well. Oh yeah, well yeah. Of course he can heal. Of course he can. That's fine. With North Star, I'm actually kind of okay with that because he's such a heroic character. He's badass. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm fine with that ending actually. Would you believe that original Batman has been dead since 1970? What? You'll have to explain that to me because I don't think that's accurate. What do you mean by the original Batman? You mean like what? Why in the comics? Like you have to expand on that idea. I don't. What do you mean by that? Any chance you can put out Batman the animated series, Teen Titans, Young Justice, Justice League, any DC stuff? You mean like videos about that? Yeah, I've thought about it. My buddy Kurt Rouse on here, as Troll as he's sometimes known. We're big fans of the DC animated shows, and I've thought about doing like episode reviews or seasonal retrospectives. I've thought about it, and like I said, I've got a lot of ideas, but I just was like, I feel like that stuff's been talked about so much. Like I don't know how much more I could add. Like if people would want it, and I have no problem talking about it, but I was like, I don't know. Plus, I'd have to watch through them again, and I've got all these other shows. So yeah, I thought about doing a Spider-Man animated series because I rewatched it, but yeah, I could do like Batman Beyond or Justice League or something. Teen Titans, yeah, I'd do that stuff again if you guys want videos on it. That's fine. The most underrated characters in DC. I'm gonna jog my memory because I'm tired. That's how bad it is. Let's see. I know what Troll would probably say. Let's see, but I got a few that came to mind automatically. I'm going to see if I can think of some by searching here. Okay, we got the top 100 DC characters. So let's see here. Yep, popular, pretty popular. I used to think Green Arrow was underrated, but he's popular now. Stargirl's a little underrated. I like her. Most of these people, I mean, they're either pretty popular or Wonder Woman's really low ranked. Yeah, Booster Gold's cool in the cartoon, but I don't know. But in general, I like Elongated Man. I don't know if people like Elongated Man, but I like him. I know he's like discount Plastic Man now. I feel like Plastic Man is oddly underrated too. Like for as cool a character he is and as powerful he is, I feel like he's still not that well known. Etrigan, I really would like to see more of. Stephanie Brown is cool. She's kind of a Bat member of the Bat family. I kind of want to see more of. Let's see. I was never a huge Blue Beetle person. Alan Scott, original Green Lantern, would be cool. Zatanna, I feel like I could see more of. Black Canary, I think, is oddly underrated still for some reason. Montoya, they made Question a little while ago. I remember that. Yeah. Martian Manhunter, I think, is still a bit underrated. I think he needs more love. Yeah, and I kind of want to see more Question stuff. Dead Man, I think, is underrated. Yeah, I feel like there's a couple there that they're like all known, but I feel like they could definitely do more with them. But it's always been kind of a discussion among a lot of my friends that of all the major DC superheroes, Martian Manhunter is strangely still kind of underutilized. And I just like to see more of him. He's an interesting character. He's got a cool design, cool powers. And it's weird. He's somehow a big character, and yet somehow I feel like a lot of people wouldn't know who he is. Like even today, I feel like a lot of people would not know who he is. It's like, what? Let's see. Hakusho, Spirit Detective. Yeah. And you got this MCU Hakusho crossover planned out, man. You're always bringing it in here. Hey, I'm telling you, fan fiction, make it happen. Is Joker secretly a genius? I always thought he was pretty smart. Are you talking about a Dark Knight thing? Have to expand. You drop these comments, but I need to know more. Oh, Frederick II of Prussia, welcome back. How you doing, man? Miguel O'Hara was actually voiced by Oscar Isaac in Spider-Verse. What? Really? That's awesome. I didn't even notice. Poe Dameron himself, huh? I like that actor. He's good. That's awesome. That was a great little bit. I like that movie a lot. I'm looking forward to it, the sequels or whatever. Beautiful movie. MCU over DCU, yes. Has only 3 characters. Yeah. I know. Yes. Marvel is kicking DC's butt. It's been that way for a long time. Hopefully it'll change. Oh man, you can't go through one stream without like somebody bringing it up. And it's like I try like I've gotten to the point where I'm so tired of talking about that like I literally I never bring it up. It always comes up because it's on everybody's mind. But like until DC just starts being a little more consistent, I feel like people are just going to be complaining about that for years. And I guess they got the right to, but like I said, I spent like 2 or 3 years just like I felt like every title for like a podcast or something was, is there hope for the DC universe? I'm like, well, not yet. So hopefully Wonder Woman was good, but I don't know. I guess the sequel wasn't. Is there a lesser known Spider-Man villain you wish had more exposure? Ooh, now this is a very Merlin question because he knows I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'm gonna look up Spider-Man villains. This should be good. I'm not gonna read them off. I'm gonna try to keep this one. Well, these guys are popular because they have the Google search thing, popular on the web. So these guys are the most searched. Okay, Carnage being the most searched makes sense. Uh, a villain I wish got more exposure. I do want to see more Carnage stuff, but let's see. We got some Vulture, got some Lizard. Um, okay, that might be a good one. Okay. Oh, might be too weird to do him. Okay. Yeah, I forgot how many villains he has. He's got so many. You start getting more obscure later on. Oh, geez, I don't even know who some of these people are. Oh yes, you gotta do the Living Brain. My favorite Spider-Man villain, the Living Brain. He's the most cheesy old robot. I love him. They brought him back in a recent comic. The Living Spider-Man versus the Living Brain. Big wheel. No, no. Um, honestly, I kind of think that Hobgoblin I want to see done well. I'd like to see Alistair Smythe, but really, I think that the one I want to see done something with more is the Chameleon because he's kind of a subtler villain. I'd like to see Spider-Man have to deal with more mystery and espionage and stuff like that, and just having a villain with shape-shifting powers has been done before. But I want to see Chameleon have like the old masks and stuff, like kind of a low-tech Spider-Man sort of thing. Like Chameleon is such an important villain and he's always been in a pain in his ass. So I really think that would be done well. I was tempted to say Merlin too, because but he's such an obscure villain. He'd have to take a while to build up to him. But yeah, Shocker, I wouldn't mind seeing more of too. I feel like a lot of people love Shocker. He's a pretty highly ranked villain, but he really was just kind of a henchman. But I feel like a lot of Spider-Man's villains were just henchmen that kind of went off on their own, which is interesting. There's a lot of really tough, strong villains to fight, physically speaking. I don't even know who that is. Um, yeah. There's much more edgy stuff going on beyond Berserk. That's what I was saying. It's like that's what I'm saying. Is like it's still a very dark manga. Don't get me wrong, but there are things that push the boundaries more than Berserk now. And I'm like, if you go further than that, I think it's a bit much. Like it's pretty much pure exploitation, and you got to have a really good reason to go to some of those places for your story. Because I don't, it's just like, what are you doing? I don't know. It's not for me. Um, oh, let's see. I think we got a comment that was flagged here. I think you cursed Frederick. What happened here? Hold on. Best supporting actors. Oh, supporting. Making me think here. I'm too tired for this. This is, man. I don't know what I was getting into. Hold on. Okay, supporting actors. Uh, okay. A top character and supporting actors. I'm going to go to IMDb. My first one was Steve Buscemi. I think he's a really supporting actor. Let's see. He's probably one of my favorites. Yep, he's actually one of the higher ranked ones here. Lon Chaney. Nice. James Coburn. These are some older ones. Tim Curry. Great supporting. Love Tim Curry. Great character actor. I love how he's best known for Congo on here. I don't think that's true. Willem Dafoe he's fantastic. Benicio del Toro is really good. Robert Duvall's classic. I feel like Clint Eastwood's a leading man, but he's a good supporting too. Andy Garcia is a really good actor I like a lot. John Goodman, of course, is fantastic. Alec Guinness in Star Wars. I haven't seen too much other stuff, but I guess he would be up there. Gene Hackman, I feel, is more of a leading man, but he's good. Anthony Hopkins is one of my favorite actors. John Hurt. James Earl Jones is a good one. Raul Julia. Harvey Keitel is really good. I like him a lot. I feel like Christopher Lee was a great supporting. He's good for villains. Michael Madsen's good. John Malkovich, I like. Yeah, these are Raymond Massey. I liked him from when he starred in Lincoln. I don't know about as a supporting actor. Malcolm McDowell's good. Frank Morgan from The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard. Jack Palance. I don't know if he's one of my favorites because I haven't seen him in enough things, but the couple of things I have seen him in, he's a good villain. Edward Norton, I feel, is like more of a leading man. Pacino is more of a leading man. Joe Pesci's pretty good. I like Anthony Quinn. Claude Rains. Nice. Basil Rathbone. I forgot about some of these old school guys. Jeffrey Rush, I like. George C. Scott. I like George C. Scott, but he's not one of my favorites. And plus, I think he is best known for Patton, where he was the lead. Martin Sheen's a good actor, though I feel like he's more of a lead. Gary Sinise is pretty good. I don't know if he's one of my favorite. Patrick Stewart had like that one like minor role in Dune, and I thought he was fantastic. So Patrick Stewart, of course. John Turturro, I really like too. Christopher Walken is definitely up there for me. Jack Warden's good too. I remember he was in this one episode of The Twilight Zone. I thought was really good. He's a good old school actor. And he looked very different, but his voice was like exactly the same. And I'm like, oh, he's much older than things I've seen him in. And Orson Welles is considered a supporting actor. I don't know. I guess he is. I don't know. But yeah, those are some supporting actors I really like. Batman died in a comic issue called The Death of Batman and Never Came Back. Oh, you think this is like a thing from a storyline that they just are conveniently saying that Batman's been an imposter for like 40 years? That'd be pretty cool. All right, hold on. The Death of Batman, 1979. I gotta look this up. 1979, Batman Earth 2. April 1979, The Death of Batman. Adventure Comics. Well, this wasn't a main DC line, I think, was it? What will the Justice Society do? He's asleep. It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's not the first time he's had a moment like that in the comics. It's an interesting theory, though. Favorite movie director? Oh, no. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to go through the list anyway. So I apologize. Man, see, it's what I've set up here with this channel. Is like, I think, it's going to be easy questions. Never bring me easy questions. And I feel like I've been asked this before, but I forget. So I'm going to go through them again. Let's see. Okay. Best directors. And I'm going to check them. And I'm going to tell you. I like a lot of these guys. By the way, I was mad when I looked through the entire, and I'm going to look again because I actually did look this up the other day. Trying to think about what my favorite directors would be. And my buddy John Carpenter is not on the most searched Google recommendations for best directors. A lot of my other ones are, but not John Carpenter, which makes me a little sad. But it's probably Quentin Tarantino. Probably. I wish it was a more